caring for people is not rocket science, but you have to give people the flexibility to create an experience, and you also have to give them enough time to create that experience. If you just hustle bustle, go go go, you don't have any overlap, then somebody can't take the time because they go, oh, I tell you, we love our members, but we love our members' guests probably more, because what makes a member prouder than how you take care of their friends, families, or business associates? Because if you can wow them in that experience, those members are so proud of being a member of the club because of how we made their guests feel. That's the secret sauce. And I don't know of any other industry in the world that you get to try to create that level of experience every single day.
Hey everyone, welcome back to this episode of Private Club Radio, the industry's choice and source for news, trends, updates, and conversations all in the world of private golf and country clubs. If you are brand new to the industry or interested in the industry, welcome. We're happy you're here to learn and dive into the private club world. If you're already a consummate professional, welcome back. On this show, we tackle any and all the topics private club related, from food and beverage, governance, marketing, branding, leadership, finance, management. And when we talk about clubs, we mean all the private clubs: city clubs, golf clubs, yacht clubs, country clubs, athletic clubs, military, all the clubs. Even might be diving into some other unique style clubs. Somebody recommend, what about curling clubs? Different, but the same. Maybe we'll dive into that one day. Speaking of unique clubs, coming up in a couple episodes, we're going to have the GM, Herve Levy, GM of the Magic Castle, the Academy of Magical Arts. That's going to be exciting. But in this episode, I chat with Steve Salzman, and he is the GM, COO over at the Club of Carlton Woods in Woodlands, Texas. And he and I met at the CMAA conference. We connected a little bit there at the Middleby Innovation Kitchens event. We were just chit-chatting and having a good chat. So I was like, hey, let's chat. Let's bring this conversation to Private Club Radio, because he was talking about food and beverage programs and how he really wanted to up and step up the game at his club. And the chat got to talking about food and beverage programming and staffing and what a good food and beverage program means. And we talk about how he wanted to bring in a CEC, certified executive chef, and he got one. There's only 70 some in the country. So he got one at his club. He really wanted to take and elevate the food at his club to a really new high level. There are so many good lessons in leadership, in food and beverage. It's a really good episode. Steve's a great guest. We have good conversation, and I'm excited to bring him on. Real quick, I want to thank you all for listening, for being here. All of our listeners. It means the world. You are tuning in to the episodes weekly. If you haven't already, I know it's early, but like, share, subscribe, follow wherever platform you're consuming this on. Doing those things means the absolute world, and it really does help push the needle forward. If you haven't signed up already, I will send you my top 3 favorite episodes. Head on over to privateclubradio.com/newsletter. Just enter in your name, email. I don't spam, don't do any of that. I'm just going to send you my top 3 episodes, and I send you about an email a week letting you know the new content that's coming out. And real quick, before we get to the episode, I just want to give a quick shout out to our show partners. We have Member Vetting, Kennis, Paul Dank, great organization, great people. And if you're looking to step up your member vetting, how you do backgrounds and fact checking and making sure the people who are coming into your club are who they say they are. If you're not doing some good level of vetting during your application process, you need to step it up. The stuff Paul and I talk about on the episodes and just the things that they find out about potential members is fascinating. And we know it's not everybody. Most people are good, but it's about finding the ones who aren't and making sure that they don't get into our club. So if you're interested, head on over to membervetting.com, set up a call with Paul Dank. Really great guy. It's going to be a really good conversation. We also have Concert Golf Partners, boutique owner-operators of luxury golf and country clubs nationwide. If you're interested in some recapitalization, head on over to concertgolfpartners.com, set up a confidential phone call with Peter and Nanula, and see where it goes. And it's not even about recapitalization. Sometimes some clubs are just done being member owned and they want to just pass it off to somebody else and have a company come in, run, manage it. So head on over concertgolfpartners.com, check them out. And we also have a brand new show sponsor. We have Golf Life Navigators. If you're unsure or don't know about Golf Life Navigators, check them out. It is Zillow meets eHarmony for golfers. They have a tremendous, amazing algorithm and platform that connects golfers, more serious golfers and golf enthusiasts with their dream home attic. The coolest thing you will see. If you're interested in being on this platform or learning more about how people can find your clubs in your communities in this way, head over to golflifenavigators.com to learn more. And when you reach out to any of our show partners, make sure you let them know you heard about them through Private Club Radio. Make sure you let them know you heard about us. You heard about them here on Private Club Radio, or that's the reason you are reaching out. And one last one, shameless plug for myself, Denny Corby. With the Denny Corby Experience, it's a magic mind reading and comedy show, one of the most fun events your club is going to have, from just a strict adult fun night out to one of the most fun family nights you will have. The show's a lot of fun. If you're interested in learning more, head on over to dennycorby.com. Enough about me. Let's get on with the show. Private Club Radio listeners, please welcome Steve Salzman. Yep. How many families you guys have come through?
We did 535 people, which is pretty good for us. We're only a club of 768 memberships, so
Still a good size.
Yeah, a lot of people. Easter, Mother's Day, kind of the normal holidays, Santa brunch, all those things. We stay busy, which is good.
And speaking of impressive, your resume is extremely impressive. You have, yeah, but no, I mean, like, you got your reps in. Like, you've worked at so many clubs in so many capacities and in such tenure and length, and like, so you were just able, like, you just felt like you were on fire.
Well, I think, like, this is a very boutique industry. It's kind of like what you said about NCA. What was it? They actually kind of marginalized this down to about 2,200 facilities in the private club industry that do more than $1 million in revenue.
That was mind blowing.
And candidly, that's a pretty low bar when you think about it. $1 million. There's not many clubs that are doing $1 million. That's pretty much a mom and pop 9-hole something. There's probably not many private clubs in the country that are doing less than $4 to $5 million if they have any kind of a membership component. So now, that 2,200 probably boils down to something remarkably less than 2,200. And, I think the thing in this industry is we all realize that we're really not competition. We can help one another. And I think that's unique. It really creates this family environment. And I've been very fortunate in my career. I worked for and with some people that I think were just, absolutely titans of the industry. Very smart people, very membership savvy, very private club savvy that instilled in me very early on the relationship side of the business. And look, we've got to all call balls and strikes, and we've got to know how to construct plays so as we don't waste members' money. But the business we are in is in the dues business. And the only way you get dues is to satisfy people and keep them as members of your club. And if you figure that out, you can be remarkably successful in this industry. And I've had good fortune. I've been in the corporate environment. I've been in the developer environment. I've been now in the member equity environment for 13 or 14 years of my career. I've been in the different lines of business. I've been in city clubs, city athletic clubs, and country clubs. So I learned a lot through my corporate days, and the best thing about all of that education that you gain through that, and from all the peer interaction that you gain in that corporate environment. I was manager of, you know, a handful of clubs, but I probably worked with 100 different teams, and all of that expertise and all of that knowledge and all of that creativity, you get to see a lot. And I like to think that, that's portable education that you take with you wherever you go. It's always cliche to say you never stop learning, but if you just pay attention to what's happening around you, uh, and rely on those experiences and use that as your foundation for the next decision you make, you're probably not going to be far askew from where you need to get.
Which club type was or has been the most challenging?
I think private dining is a very difficult game. The interesting thing is, probably 5 or 6 years ago now, I
And for
ventured.
some of our listeners, a little bit newer, can you define the private dining?
Yeah, it's basically a member dues paying club that only has dining. So you can use it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and private events. They don't have a health facility. They have nothing else. They don't have practice facilities. It's been interesting to watch how those have tried to really use technology to their advantage. Now, there's a number of city clubs that now have golf simulators and things in their clubs. But I remember back in the old days that literally this is a place to go dine. You're paying to belong to a place to go dine. And you had a lot of nice things with that: exclusivity and privacy. The CEOs and C-suite executives tended to like those places because they were private. The general public couldn't get in, and more importantly, media couldn't get in unless they were members, and therefore they felt like they could have conversations in a little bit more of a private and discreet fashion. But when time gets tough, those things can be eliminated from the budget very quickly. And that was a tough game. But I'll tell you now, you look at what's happening in Chicago and New York in the private dining scene.
Blowing
Now
up.
a lot of these places, they bought their entire buildings, and they have room accommodations, and they've renovated these rooftop structures, and these outdoor bar elements, and they're just phenomenal the way they've reinvented themselves and kept themselves relevant in a very tough market. And even as the downtown areas are struggling with commercial real estate, these clubs are thriving. Jeff McFadden, Philadelphia. I mean that. Well, they're everything now, right? They're country clubs, they're beach clubs, they're country clubs, and they're downtown clubs. So I found them to be the most challenging. But those guys that are in that industry and have really focused on it really have seemed to crack that code.
What have been some of your biggest learning lessons over the past couple of years? What's been some of like the main key takeaways? I know when you and I talked, there were some notes that I had. Slow to hire, quick to fire. Members are patient as long as they see continuous improvement.
Yeah.
And achieving consistency is success in food and beverage.
Yeah, I think the consistency aspect of things is always the most critical. You can have moments of brilliance, but that's only good if you can duplicate it. Because if somebody comes in on Monday and has a great experience, they come in on Wednesday and don't. They have no reliability. They have no trust. They have no faith. Are they going to really bring that important dinner or that family function to your club, not knowing what they're going to get? I think the most important thing I've learned through my years, though, is the answers are always in the field. Um, in a former capacity in a corporation, I was a regional manager, and typically I was responsible for my home club, but also 5, 7, 10, 11 other clubs in different areas, regions. Not areas that I could go to regularly; it require a plane trip. So I was connected to the club through the phone. But the more time that you deal with people, you found yourself going, "What do you think the answer is?" People typically know the answer. You just have to help them have the confidence to make the choice. And I think the best leaders in clubs today, I have a very capable, competent team. They're creative, caring, relationship driven, member centric people. they know what the members want and needs a lot better than I do sitting in my office upstairs. So it's just a matter of freeing them to make the decisions that they need to make that are going to best serve the members. So if you take care of your members, you're taking care of your club. Um, they're not often going to lead you astray, and I think you're there to as a leader. You need to be taking down barriers that exist. That's equipment barriers. That's people barriers. Uh, that's operational and administrative barriers, whatever they may be. I think that's the thing is just keep the organization out of everybody's way so that they can focus on the most important thing, which is taking care of the members, making sure every member experience and guest experience is as magical as you can make it. Everybody knows the movie The Bucket List. I think you've got to make your club a bucket list experience. And how do you do that? You make it where when they leave, they go, "Wow, that was a great day." And I love to see the guests come to the club because I think if you can always remind your members of how good your club is, because they get used to how good it is, because they get to experience it every day. They help us reinvent our own bar. They help us elevate ourselves each day, going, how are we going to make the ordinary experience extraordinary? And that's what we focus on.
Do you have any memorable experiences that you've given to people that you can share?
There's so many cool little moments where you just see like genuine caring and compassion, and I think that's when you're really winning. If you have the right employee partner team, that's the difference. It's not just fulfilling the requirements of the job. The responsibility is to make it magical. And it's little things like remembering whatever, a conversation. I always tell my staff is, the number one thing that people define as good service is talking to them that has nothing to do with why they are there, but that requires you to know them. Talk to them about their kids, talk to them about their college recruitment trip, talk to them about their family vacation. There are some things in this industry that we get to do because it's not just surface deep. If you're in the hotel business and you do something nice for somebody, it's because you learned it in a day or two while that person was there. When I have learned something about somebody for years and years and years, it's not just surface level care. It's deep and often it's personal. Um, I think clubs are at their best when our members are at their worst, at those most vulnerable moments. Unlike not unlike any other club. I mean, we have members who have family members pass away, and to be able to really lean in those moments and be there for that member. We're blessed at Carlton Woods. We have transportation department. We've got obviously everything you need. So it's like, how can we help? And we'll send our vehicles to the airport. We'll take people from homes or hotels to services and back. And we really try to unload during those moments of need. But there's also the happy moments, the wedding receptions, the anniversaries, the kids' birthdays, the kids' graduation. I think the most important thing and the best part about our role is we get to walk alongside our members for essentially their entire lives. And our sole focus is to make their life better. And how can we insert ourselves at these moments to do that? And that's what makes it fun, is those moments. Um, and it's I always tell my team, I was like, don't get caught doing the right thing. Just do the right thing, do the special thing, and maybe you leave them wondering how that occurred.
Magic.
Magic.
Don't give away the secret, because
Yeah.
sometimes it's really easy and you don't want people to know. So just when people just if they're amazed, let it be.
And, how many times, I tell you, I walk around this club every single day and I see an employee do something. I'm like, wow, that was awesome. And it's as simple as their delivery in some cases. Um, some of our main tenets here are don't tell, Don't point, take. Don't tell, take. If somebody needs to know where the bathroom is, take them there. If they need to know where a room is, take them there. Because the only person that's going to ask you for help is somebody that doesn't know where that area is, which means it's probably a guest. So now I have the opportunity to really make an impression, unlike something that they're going to get anywhere else. And that's where those cues really come in. Um, there's not a lot of places where somebody will drop what they're doing to take you somewhere. And I always tell my team, I was like, imagine somebody says, "Can you tell me where the bathroom is?" Well, you don't. You said, "I'd be happy to show you." And you take them to their destination. You take them where they need to get to. That sounds really nice, right? That sounds like a good thing. Well, now all of a sudden picture yourself in a facility that's 3 stories tall, and somebody says, "Can you tell me where the overlook room is?" I'd be happy to show you. So now you're dropping what you're doing, and you're either walking them up the stairs or you're riding in the elevator with them, and you're engaging them and you're talking to them, and you take them to where their room is and say, "It's right here." And that doesn't happen most places. That makes an impression. It's memorable. And that's what we try to do, is we try to be memorable.
That was good. That was good. Wow.
Thanks.
Did not see that. No, that was good. I did not see that coming. That was like a good magic trick. Steve, that was good.
Caring for people is not rocket science. But you have to give people the flexibility to create an experience, and you also have to give them enough time to create that experience. If you just hustle bustle, go go go, you don't have any overlap, then somebody can't take the time because they go, "Oh, I tell you, we love our members, but we love our members' guests probably more." Because if we, I mean, what makes a member prouder than how you take care of their friends, families, or business associates? Because if you can wow them in that experience, those members are so proud of being a member of the club because of how we made their guest feel. That's the secret sauce. And um, I don't know of any other industry in the world that you get to try to create that level of experience every single day.
You mentioned secret sauce. Speaking of sauce, can we talk about your food program?
Yes, I'd love to. Which
I
is
see.
what we said we were going to do.
I know, and I feel like this all is just like extra. This is like, when like they bring, the chef, "Hey, this is compliments of the chef. Here's a dessert." I feel like dessert came early. Like all that beginning stuff was so good. And so unplanned. So I appreciate that. But yeah, let's talk about your F&B.
Yeah, we visited a little bit at NCA, and uh, I don't think our journey probably was particularly different than many. Um, I've been at my club now for 8.5 years. The members bought it from a developer in 2015. I've been here since uh, very slightly past the purchase date. And, kind of the first step was just analyzation and stabilization, figuring out, okay, where are our strengths? Where are our weaknesses? And then developing game plans to make our strengths even stronger and make our weaknesses first good, and then hopefully ultimately great. And my uh, food and beverage is always tough at clubs. You kind of really have to find your identity. Um, so that took a little bit of time, and ironically, the very first employee I hired when I was new to Carlton Woods was an executive sous chef, who is now my chef, by the way. Um, but we had to start building a team, and he was a very talented young man and could really bring a lot um, to the department. And pretty quickly, I realized that we needed to have a leadership change so that we could really build around. And my previous experience, I had hired a certified master chef at my previous club in North Carolina, and was the first time I really felt like I could afford a culinarian like that. And the dividends that paid at the club were real. So I just decided that whatever resources I needed to put towards it to hire a certified master chef at Carlton Woods, that's what I was going to do.
And
You know,
how many are there?
you're
There's
talking one of about 70 in the world. So you have to find somebody that's willing to come to your location, and that is available. And I was able to do that, and hired a certified master chef by the name of Russell Scott, who we had the good fortune to spend some time with
mhm.
during NCA at the Middle B Innovation Kitchen. Um, I hired Russell to come in and just totally restructure my food and beverage operation. And the thing that is most rewarding in that is, most certified master chefs, probably all of them are certified master chefs. They want to bring in the best products, and they want to let those products speak for themselves. They typically don't overcomplicate items. They don't over ingredient. It's kind of like if you put more than 5 to 7 ingredients with your mainline item, the palate can't pick it up anyway. Buy great ingredients and do what it takes to let them sing. And Russell was a master at that. And some funny stories with Russell. Um, he was always, did you taste that? Did you taste that? Did you taste that? And I can remember early on, he'd walk around and he'd go, "What'd you make?" And they'd say it. He said, "Did you taste it?" And then they'd look at him and they'd get this like look on their face like, "Oh, I wish I could say yes." But you knew the answer was no. And he would take a little taste. He's going, "Oh, you should have tasted that." And then, but it was these learning moments that created this expectation. So there was a lot of tasting going on. And then it wasn't like, "Oh, you're a bad person." It was, how can we make this better? How do we bring it to life? And it was, add a touch of this and a pinch of that. Now taste it. Did we go the right direction or wrong direction? And he broke our operation down to the X's and O's. Unfortunately, you have to evaluate people and determine who can be on the team long term and who's probably not going to make it. And maybe we could reposition them to another area of the club, or maybe we could successfully outplace them and make sure they were going to an environment they could be successful. But slowly we built a team. And Russell's a fabulous culinarian. And when I brought him in, I told Wes, who was my executive sous chef, I was like, "You are the heir apparent to this role. I hope Russell's with us 3 to 5 years. That's the expectation. And you have a front row seat to one of the best culinarians in the world." There's a lot of times that who you work for matter. And look, that's tough. But Wes embraced it, learned a lot from Russell. Russell introduced him around to other exceptional culinarians at meetings. And then Russell's departure from the club came a little bit quicker than I would have liked, but that Middleby opportunity came open, and it's impossible to pass up on.
Yeah.
But Wes had done a phenomenal job, and Russell had done a phenomenal job developing Wes. And Wes has now seamlessly taken on that role, has been in the role probably now for, 3+ years as executive chef. And I'm very proud of him. I mean, he is beyond his years from a networking perspective. He's highly sought after at meetings. He does guest chef appearances. Um, and he's really created a world-class team here at Carlton Woods. So it's a remarkable success story. Um, and the consistency we spoke about earlier, the first step was get quality ingredients, get quality products. Now make sure you have people that are uh, equal art and science to make interesting dishes that people enjoy, make magical experiences, and then duplicate it time and time again so that we are extremely reliable. And it's very rewarding now to sit and hear members just talk about how great our food and beverage experience is. And that's the secret sauce in food and beverage: is listen to what they want, try to deliver on it, and have a team environment where they challenge one another to excel.
What a way to end. Oh my God. You are good. You can come on anytime. This is
Anytime you want to talk about
so
something,
good. Oh my goodness. Wow.
I'm fortunate I've got, well, all the good people too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ironic how, there's probably 250, 300 really dominating clubs in the country. I mean, South Florida, New Jersey, Wingfoot, Baltusrol, you got Olympic Club, Riviera. I mean, you've got some of these. It's like, how do you get such good people in this little boutique profession that we have? I mean, it's kind of miraculous.
A little bit.
It is. It's. I mean, but I think it's the community environment that we have created for one another. Once you get into this industry, it's hard to imagine doing anything else.
And I feel like to be a part of it, you have to be a special person, and it kind of self-filters a little bit. And when you see somebody else at an event, it's almost like a recognized game. You're like, oh, well, if you're here and I've seen you 3 times, okay, so you're not going anywhere. You're probably in it for like the long haul too. All right, I think you're probably pretty good. Or
I think you're right. I mean, I think you see. Look, it takes lots of things to be successful. You've got to be at a club that can afford to be involved, because some clubs just can't. It's not that they're bad. It's just they're small clubs serving small communities, and those teams work as hard as anybody. But if you get to these bigger clubs that have a little bit more financial resources, and you can be a steward for the industry, you can join NCA and be an impactor for the entire industry. There's probably 200 clubs that are a member of NCA, but the benefit of those clubs funding NCA to do good for the industry in Washington and to do good for your industry in your state legislatures have ripple effects to all those clubs that can't afford it. And when you're in the good fortune to be at those clubs that can't afford to be a good steward to the industry, that's when you start to be known in those circles as it's like you said, oh, there's Steve. I saw him at the NCA, and I saw him at CMAA, and I saw him at the Distinguished Clubs, and I saw him at the Platinum Clubs Forum. You start to see people in those circles, and you know that they're trying to create good pathways for the entire industry. And all of a sudden you get in these great networking circles, and you meet interesting people. I mean, had it not been for NCA, I don't know that we would ever met in person. And now, my network's expanded because of that experience. And I think with each passing year, that's how it continues to go and continues to expand. And I think the private club industry is becoming more important. As other industries close down on personal interaction, we are leaning into it harder than ever before. I will never have an automated teller. I will never have an automated receptionist. I will never let you keypad order at a table. I will never have a robot delivering food, because a robot can't take you to your destination. I mean, it's like people crave this personal conversation. I love going into places and see them shut down more and more on that, because it's going to flood more and more people to my door, because they want personal interaction, and they want people caring for one another, and they want recognition. They want to be recognized. They want to be known, and that's what we do well.
Can't say it any better. So thank you for the content.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Hope you all enjoyed that episode. I know I did. Steve, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for spreading some knowledge and your stories and things with the audience. We all appreciate it. We can all always take away little nuggets from all of these episodes. So like I said, if you are enjoying the content, like, share, subscribe, follow wherever you are consuming. It means the world, and it costs you nothing. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter yet, to make sure you get up to date on all the latest episodes and content, because we don't always announce all of them on social media. Some of them we just push out. So if you want to make sure you get all the episodes, sign up for our newsletter, privateclubradio.com/newsletter. And I will also send you my top 3 favorite episodes. That's this episode. Until next time, catch y'all on the Liberty Flow.